Okay, we got to check back on table 7. We can assume that the 10 is probably good and put a bet out there, but probably just the one bet is enough. I'm trying to think of what hand he would call with twice that's worse, especially when the backdoor flush draw gets there, which is one of the hands that he's obviously going to be calling the turn with. Okay, well, we're not dead yet in the $5 freeze out, which was another thing that just slightly factored in to my decision about going with the 10s, was that I wouldn't quite be out of the tournament and I'd still have a second chance. And I've been patiently waiting. I haven't just ripped it in because I was on a short stack. Still just want to make the right mathematical shoves in these things and try to give yourself the best chance of getting back in the game, because that old adage about a chip in a chair, it's true. It's happened before. It happens all the time, where someone takes a huge beat in a tournament and they're left with just barely any chips, and then they just run amazing and come back. 166. Man, I really hope you're not one of those nits that just leads with... Actually, I'll just call. Oh, that would be nothing. I was going to say, I hope he's not one of those nits that leads out when he flops a set. Because then if I raise there, he's going to fold out any air hands he has, and if he has sets, he's just going to get it in, and I'm going to get it in really bad. And... well, I can't imagine he's check raising with something other than a jack or a full house, so I'll fold. But I bet there in case he led the flop with some Inder pair between the 6 and the jack, and then when the jack pairs, he's going to be like, well, it's less likely that I have a jack then, therefore maybe my Inder pair is good. So I was betting there to get value from a hand he could check call with. When he check raises, I'm just over it. Even though it's for min, I mean, there's obviously going to be a bet coming on the river as well. And given that I'm not going to call the bet on the river, what's the point of calling the one on the turn? I'm just burning that money. Bottom 2 peasy. Probably just going to try to get this one in. I was trying to think of how many 6-7 type hands he calls with from the small blind, and I don't think there are too many. Given that I have a 3 and a 4, it's unlikely he has pocket 3s or pocket 4s, so it's really just ace deuce and pocket 5s I have to be worried about. I think much more often he's going to have a hand like 7s or 6s. And this one kind of looks like 6s are a flush to me, so since I have a boat, I'm going to go all in. Because I don't think you got the 5s, Juice. Nope, you got the 6. A bit of an overplay by him. Check on the flop. It's fine. It's fine. Check raising's okay too. But once the board pairs and I'm still barreling on the turn, and all he has is a straight draw, that even if he hits it, it's not going to be very disguised. There's going to be a 4 straight on the board. His implied odds are low. Also, it's hard to get paid out of position. He has to do what he did, which is just lead out for pot, and then to me it's the alarm bells are going to go off. What other hand could he have? So I think he's got to let it go on the turn, but he's a 40-26 guy. So when he defends ace rag from the blinds and flops an actual piece of the board, he's not going anywhere. You can't blame him, because that's just how his brain works. So, that's why you need to work on having a superior intellect, so you won't do those types of bad things. You can capitalize on other people doing bad things. And you know what, boys and girls? I think we're going to be okay at 50. I know it was aggressive to take that first shot on a 20 buy and roll, especially going right in there and just 12 tabling out of the gate. But from what I'm seeing, looking at the stats that are around and stuff, I think if we just choose our spots wisely, we're going to do okay. There are a lot of bad players. There are also going to be some good players here, like on table 1, Trazy, You know, 26-21 with an 8% 3-bet. That's a very solid style. It's not that easy to play against. And then you have the aggressive nits, 18-14, 23-18. But with a 3-bet of 8, that 8% 3-bet, it's kind of like the optimal 3-bet in my opinion, and it's very tough to play against someone who has an 8% 3-bet because they're bluffing sometimes, but usually they have it, and they're going to play well post-flop. So there are going to be a bunch of those people floating around. Our goal is really just going to, or our focus is going to be to not get too involved with them, not make it a priority. When situations come up where we have to get involved with them, that's fine, but we're not going to make it our focus to play with them. We're not going to go out of our way to play with them. There are so many just really bad or really straightforward players around here that we can just focus on them instead. Ark asking, you're so passive, I'm not even going to hero call. Speak of the devil. Trazy. Partypoker's lobby's so weird. Nit 3-bets us on table 5. Okay, full. Honestly, this game's pretty shitty. Probably because we busted the fish. Everyone's a nit, and the weakest player, the 26-8 guy. Those guys, you know, they're bad, but it's still, to get their money, it's kind of like pulling teeth. It's a slow, painful process. So rather than, you know, slowly try to get some money there, I'm just going to look for a new game that's going to have someone who's playing way crazier and just waiting to give the money away. Ace-high flop for kings. Shocker. Just got a message from Partypoker that they could not process my request for going on the wait list. You guys gotta step your game up. That's embarrassing. I'm trying to give them money, and they don't want to let me do it. What kind of a business is that? You ever go to a store and like try to buy a chocolate bar, and the cashier's like, nah, we can't take your money at this time. You will have to come back another time. It doesn't happen. It's bad business. Okay, well, I just got on like 9 wait lists or something, so should be dealing with a full slate again pretty soon. Alright, pocket 5s, 5 big blinds in the journey. It's go time. It's go time. Hopefully someone's got ace-king, they call, and we win. And we're only 2 doubles away from being back at starting stack. What do we do on king high dry flops, boys? What do we do? Why is he tanking? Bot. King jack suited against the fish. Defend. I like when there's a raise from under the gun and I have Actually, just 5's good. Hopefully it's the cooler. Ooh, that's like a really bad flop for aces against the Nets calling range. So check call. Like, we can get value from ace king and jack jack. Those are like the few hands. But if he just called the raise with kings or queens, we're fucked. I think he would have considered 4-betting with kings, but queens and tens are both like pretty standard, just calls in that spot, so snap call makes sense. But he had like 2 9s or something. But it's a board where you can't just automatically stack off with aces, because if you think about what you're getting action from and what kind of equity they have, it's not like a fist pump, get it in spot. Jack 9 suited for a min raise from a rando on table 3. I'll take a flop and then just, play according to what the board texture is, and what is bet sizing and timing and all the other little bits of information I can factor in and try to make the best decision. So can I label? Give him a color? Suck party poker. Just so you guys know, when this challenge is done, I'm never playing on party poker again. Man. It's annoying. This guy's 3-betting a lot. I don't want to 4-bet get in 9s because I raised from early position. I don't want to 4-bet fold. I don't want to call and play out of position with a hand that just doesn't do that well. So I guess I just got to fold. Until he gets to the point where I really think that he could 5-bet it in worse for value, then there's just kind of not much I can do with pocket 9s there. I'm just in a really tough spot, which again shows the power of 3-betting in position. Even if he has like queen 7 suited. I see the 3-bet, fine. And then I see him bet the flop. How do I know if he's got the queen 7 suited this time or the ace king or the whatever? Like, it's impossible for me to read being out of position. And here on table 8 with king queen suited, it's a good spot to 3-bet because the guy's isolating a fish, but king queen suited plays multi-way and I want to keep the 56-0 guy in the pot. So I'm just going to call and invite him to come along for the ride. And he obliges. What a surprise! Oh, see? Patiently wait with 5 big blinds, pick up AA. Just all in. This hand we're going to 3-bet against ass can. To catch up on. Hopefully those aces are winning. Hopefully. We can beat queen jack. Well, it's a7 on table 9. I just kind of got myself into the spot, and when the king comes off, I got to keep barreling. But I was actually kind of wishing I just folded pre-flop because the hand, it's okay, but it's really not that strong. Hopefully he's got jack 10. No, 9-10. 9 was a really bad river. On other rivers, I probably would have continued going for it. But no, whatever. I'll call it with king high. Sweet. Ass can. Trying to think what hands he calls a bet with here that don't bet themselves. I don't think there are that many, so check raise seems better than bet. he's got a 10, he's going to bet it. If he's got an ace, he might bet it. And if he has like any other pair, he's probably just going to fold to the third bet. But he might also turn it into a bluff if I check to him. How many players saw this flop with me? 2 in the tourney. I think these queens got to go in. I mean, don't have 2 10s. Wow, what a cooler. Good flop on table 8. Yeah, so queens, I'm just all in. If someone hit a jack, nice hand. But again, I have a strong hand. The board came out reasonably good. I just have to take my chances, roll the dice, and do what I can do to try to get a stack back. And there, I was down 120 chips on like the third hand of the tourney, and now I'm back to 1700. I'm almost back to my starting stack. Okay, well, I don't imagine I'm folding this ace-jack here on table 3. It's pretty good against a limp caller, so just betting if he raises, just re-raise all in. You know, when you're dealing with people with wacky stats, awkward stacks, just gotta go for it. Sorry. Ooh, re-raise. Ace-jack suited is a good hand to call 3 bets with. I don't know anything about this guy yet, so I'll wait till I have more information. Or deeper pockets and I'm ready to take the variance. Because if he's a nit, ace-jack suited is not a good hand to call his 3-bet with. But if he's anything else, tight aggressive or loose aggressive, then ace-jack suited, it's pretty premium, actually. And no, I'm not going to overlimp the jack 10 in the tournament just because this can happen. I can get isolated, my 60 chips go to waste. So on the button, I'm fine with overlimping because it's so unlikely that someone's going to raise out of the blinds. But when there's still a lot of players behind, and it's going to be an obviously awesome spot for isolating with all these limps and stuff, and a lot of dead money. I'm just not going to waste the chips. Just going to be more patient. Don't need to see every flop. And here on table 10, 4-way flop. I have equity, but it's 4-way. I mean, yeah. Backdoor not flush draw. I just don't like to c-bet into that many people. It's just too likely that someone caught a piece. Check fold. Queen 10 beats ace king. And the guy's playing 45-4. You guys see that there's value in these tournaments yet? Alright, table 2, I'm going to bet again. A, because I have an open-ended straight draw and I have equity, but B, actually, B is the fact that I have an open-ended straight draw. A is that a scare card came off, and if you peeled me with a 5x or a pocket pair between 5 and queen, he's going to fold on the king, and the only hand that he can really call with is like a strong queen or a queen-king. Empty the clip on the river. I mean, this guy's pretty passive, pretty cally. I think he'll probably hero call with a queen if he has one. Can he call 2 streets with a 5? You son of a bitch. Making me look all bad and shit. Well, given that, I guess I should have fired 3. And, Kennedy. If you don't have a king, you might just fold here. If you have a straight draw, I actually have a better hand than you. So I bet 1 check 2 on table 10. Damn, 2 streets with a 5. It's so heroic. There's no way he calls it third. Can you imagine if the turn of river was just an ace and he made 2 pair and I just stacked him? Because he'd obviously like check raise. Wishful thinking. Min 3 bet. We got position. And one of the worst hands. The rookie hand. But for that price and the fact that I have position, I'm going to see the aces. Aces. I say. Alright, flop top pair on table 2 with a decent kicker, lead out. Lead out in the field, see what happens. Just getting called. Could still have a value betting hand. He can call us with a better 10 or a worse 10. He can call us with straight draws. Okay, 9's on table 9 with the limper under the gun. He's probably going to call, so we have multi-way action. And we have a hand that can obviously make the nuts. So, see the flop. I like where this is going on table. Table ting. God. Full house. I mean, he's nitty. What else would he raise here? He might raise a bare 9, but I think there's like 1 9 in his range that didn't make a boat. Hopefully I have time bank. Okay. Turning a hand into a bluff. Yeah, you know what? I think he just has 9-8, 8-8, 5-5 too often when he takes that line. I'm going to fold. It doesn't look like I'm bluffing when I bet twice onto a board that nasty. That's way better for his range than my under the gun range. And, well, if I call there, then I'm going to face a big bet on the river. And I just think this type of player who's fairly tight, not too aggressive post-flop, isn't going to be doing that with worse very often. You can have 9-10's the one hand I'm beating. But is that enough of his range to justify calling a turn raise and potentially a river shove? I don't know. So it's okay to fold if you flop the nuts and then the texture of the board changes and it's possible that you don't have the nuts anymore. It's okay to fold later. Just because you flop the nuts doesn't mean you still have the nuts. You have to adjust for how the situations change. Okay, Axel Pro's 3-betting a lot. Ace Queen suited has pretty good value against his range, even though he's nitty in 14-14. Well, because he's nitty in that sense, I'm not just going to 4-bet get it in. But I'm definitely going to call, and if I hit any good piece, I'm going to go with the hand. Okay. New game looks good, so time to decide which game is going to go. And I'm pretty sure... You know what, I'll just take the tournament away. So we don't have to leave a game. Yay! Man, these guys 3-bet me a lot. Maybe I should start opening less on the button. Like with junk. It's so sick. Flop is straight. Can't go with it. It's just, I'm thinking about what his range is for calling pre-flop. We'll go queens through deuces, and we'll give him some suited connectors and some broadways. And all the broadways are folding on the flop. Queens and jacks are probably just calling the turn. And this, man, squeeze city. I'm gonna rip this one in. Table 8. No. Bad timing. Bad timing. Fuck. Okay. Couple deep breaths. Recover. Recenter. Refocus. I think a big part of actually why I back raised those 7s was because I was talking about that other hand. It was getting me upset. So that's why you have to just let things go after they happen. Forget about them, move on. Because what happened on one hand should have no impact and no bearing on your decisions in other hands. And yeah, that guy's squeeze is pretty high. So back raising like a hand like 7s through 9s is okay. And for him to wake up with a hand there is unlucky. But it's also, you know, I'm risking 50 to win 10. And I've only committed 3 big blinds to the pot. Do I really need to commit another 100? Just to kind of be like, hey buddy, take it easy with the 3 betting? No. But yeah, I was definitely thinking about that other hand. And I just, you know, fuck it, we already discussed it a little bit. I don't need to talk about it anymore. The hand's done. I'm done talking about it. I'm just going to get back to playing some cards. 50 cents, I'll call. $1, this guy's so milking me. I'll call. You got ace 3. Full pot, yeah, you got it. I should have folded on the turn.